The sustainability aspect with quote-unquote houseplants has to be in the care for them, as the houseplant business is extremely bad for the environment. Also, obviously, because the plants that we keep in our inside spaces in Europe and most of the West in general are only here due to colonialism. So plants, as is everything else, are political, and taking care of them in the right way as to not have to throw them away really quickly is a way to pay respects to that horrible history. The idea for the shop came about in 2019 when the space that we are now in was empty. The meaning of a community space, such as the Green Corner, that is intersectionally feminist, anarchist, anti-racist, is super important as it gives more access to people that are marginalized in the countryside to come to a small town rather than having to go to a larger city in Switzerland. The commercial approach to keep the community space open, in the sense of it now being an association, is that we obviously do the normal shop business every day. We do provide the same amount of care for the space and also help people find the right plant for them, take care of the people who are enjoying their time in the cafe part. Simultaneously, we also do put plants in businesses and private spaces where we then can ask money for our labor, which is something we don't do in the context of the shop, as it should be as accessible as possible in terms of the prices of the plants. I would really like to also give courses on plant care, detecting pests and how to troubleshoot them. That's been in the works for quite a while. We would also like to host queer gatherings in the future, or just gatherings for marginalized people, be it that we are there or they get to create their own safer spaces. For example, during the month of December, we were able to do a crafting afternoon. That was a huge success, and we would love to do those again and then establish a regular practice of having game nights and movie nights. What else is possible in the space is you can rent the space, be it to hold meetings or do home office or be with your friends or have a little gathering, have a movie night, whatever. And when you do pay more, you therefore give kind of a solidarity support to not only the shop but also people who don't have the money to rent the space but would like to. The current status quo when it comes to the financial side is unfortunately very dire. We are barely able to make rent for the next month as of now, although we have collectivized the rent by incentivizing people who know the space and like the space to contribute with finances if they cannot make it to be there in person. It is really tough as sometimes the money isn't only not there for the rent but also not to get more plants in order to supply them to people who want them. And without having plants to sell, the space struggles even more. Since January 2024, the Green Corner is now an association that is supported by Xperi Theatre in Zurich, and the people there have also been involved with ideas and jumping into cover shifts and help out. The meaning of coming together and community for people that are marginalized is huge. It builds resilience, knowing that you can rely on each other, that you're not alone, being able to connect with compassion on shared lived experience, living this solidarity rather than just intellectualizing it contributes immensely to psychohygiene and therefore to having a holistic approach to your not only mental but in turn also physical health. It is really hard to find a way to transfer the online enthusiasm for the space into reality, although we've tried pretty much everything we could, and not being able to transfer this enthusiasm obviously also contributes to the fact that when there's no people taking up the space, there's also nobody contributing to it, and spaces like these are a necessity.